Hello and welcome to Norwood News. Today is Friday, January 14th, and I'm your host, Kristen McDonald. It is great to have you with us as we end another week here in Norwood. The highly transmissible Omicron variant is affecting communities across the globe. Health Director Sigal Reese shares the latest COVID-19 data in Norwood.
Our case counts are triple what they were last winter. At this point, hospitalizations are higher than last winter, but not in the same proportions as the increase in cases. But still, this is a significant hospitalization rate and has huge impacts on our healthcare system. Death rates are not as high as they were in previous peaks and lower than they were last winter. Omicron is very contagious, but seems to not be as severe disease. But because the numbers are so high, it is having a huge impact on our community and hospitals. As a reminder, local health data is posted on the town website every Friday. The key messages remain the same. Get vaccinated and boosted, wear a mask, avoid large indoor gatherings. If you can get an at-home test kit, test after traveling or attending events and gatherings. Stay home if you're sick and get a test, either a PCR or an antigen home test. Vaccine is available for everyone 5 years and older. Recently, Pfizer boosters were approved for 12 years and older. The health department holds Moderna booster clinics, and registration is required. Information is posted on our website. Stay safe, wear a mask, and get vaccinated.
Thanks, Sigal. Public health nurses Nick Crowninshield and Katie Pellard also stopped by the studio to answer your questions about at-home COVID testing.
Hi, I'm Nick Crowninshield.
And I'm Katie Pelland.
We're the public health nurses at the Norwood Health Department.
And we're here to talk to you about COVID-19 home testing. What is a rapid at-home COVID-19 test?
These are over-the-counter tests that look for parts of the virus in the body.
What reason should I use a rapid at-home COVID-19 test for?
These tests are a convenient way to see if you have COVID-19 when you have symptoms, and these tests may also be used as a screening tool if you do not have symptoms and plan on attending a gathering or seeing a vulnerable loved one.
What reason should I not use a rapid at-home COVID-19 test for?
Since these tests are not supervised or done by a healthcare professional, they are unlikely to be accepted when testing is required, such as for sporting events, travel, or other specific employer or school policies.
How should I use a rapid at-home COVID-19 test?
There are many different brands of rapid at-home COVID-19 tests. Be sure you read the instructions on the box before purchase or use, as there may be reasons why the test is not appropriate for you. Some examples include being too young, frequent nosebleeds, or having a facial or head injury for some brands.
What should I do if my rapid at-home COVID-19 test is positive?
You should isolate or separate yourself from other people. Beginning the count the day after your symptoms started, or the test day if you do not have any symptoms, you should isolate for 5 days. On the 6th day, if your symptoms have resolved or you never had any, you may exit isolation and should strictly wear a mask for the following 5 days. If you do not feel your symptoms have improved, then you should extend your isolation 1 day at a time until you do. If mask wearing is not possible for you, you should isolate for 10 days. If possible, try to obtain an official test by calling your primary care provider, going to mass.gov/gettested, or calling 211 so that you may have documentation of having had COVID-19. This documentation may be beneficial in the future.
What should I do if my rapid at-home COVID-19 test is negative?
If you have no symptoms, it's unlikely that you're currently infected with COVID-19. Rapid at-home COVID-19 tests are an important screening tool for us to have, but no test is perfect, so still consider wearing a well-fitting mask if you're attending a large gathering or visiting a vulnerable loved one. If you do have symptoms, it's possible to have a false negative test and may still have COVID-19. You should separate yourself from other people and contact your primary care provider to discuss your symptoms and whether additional testing is recommended. Testing is a critical part of stopping the spread of COVID-19, as is wearing a well-fitting mask, social distancing, and hand washing.
However, the most effective tool at stopping the spread of COVID-19 is vaccination. please go to vaxfinder.mass.gov, the Health Department's webpage at norwoodma.gov, or call 211 to find locations for COVID-19 vaccines and boosters.
Thanks to the team at the Health Department for your constant efforts to reduce COVID case rates in Norwood. If you are feeling sick, please isolate yourself and get tested. For additional questions, please contact your primary care provider. Stay tuned after this break for a recap of the winter storm cleanup and for this week's Moral Moment.
I'm a dad and a pastor.
I'm a mom and a principal.
I am a daughter,
Wife and machu.
Great-grandfather.
I'm a rock climber.
My husband, a father, and a grandfather.
I'm a mother, a daughter, a wife, and a cousin.
I got vaccinated for my parents.
Because I want to be a good neighbor.
For safety and for the people I love.
For my family, for my community, and for our community at large.
કારણ કે મારી ઈચ્છા હતી કે મારા બાળક બીજા બાળક સાથે રમી શકે.
I got vaccinated so I didn't have to wear a mask.
For my family and for my community, your community.
We all come from different backgrounds
And speak different languages.
But we all agree on one thing.
Get vaccinated.
Get vaccinated.
Get vaccinated.
Getting vaccinated.
Get vaccinated.
Vaccination card.
To protect yourself and others, get vaccinated. To find out more information and to find a clinic, go to mass.gov/COVID vaccine.
Welcome back. Last week ended with the town's first big snowstorm of the year. The timing and intensity of the storm impacted the morning commute, causing the closure of schools. Mark Ryan recaps the winter weather event and the DPW's cleanup response.
The storm started out about 3 a.m. in the morning and snowed to about 3 p.m. in the afternoon. We had 13 and a half inches of snow. The good thing is it was a lighter snow, so we were able to maneuver around pretty well and weren't that many breakdowns of equipment. DPW actually started treating the roads at 11 p.m. on Thursday night, and about 3 a.m. the DPW crews came in to start plowing the snow. At 5 a.m. we had the subcontractors that we hired come in. So we had a full crew of about 63 vehicles, and that included 7 sidewalk plows. The most challenging part of the storm was from 3:30 to just about 7 o'clock, we received 9 inches of snow. So we were approximately 3 inches of snow per hour, which is the highest intensity I ever seen. And but the crews did great, and to help that traffic was light. Schools had canceled, so the DPW was able to go out and do their work. So around 3:30, 4 o'clock, they did finish up their plow routes, and then at that point we finish up with a salting operation to take care of some of the wet areas because it did get quite cold after that, and wanted to make the roads safe as far as freezing. We plow about 32 miles of sidewalks in town. We don't do all the sidewalks because of financial and manpower constraints. So we took care of the sidewalk plow routes during the event, and then we had crews come back Saturday morning to clean up a lot of the routes. A lot of the routes get plowed in by driveway contractors, people shoveling out their driveways, and just pick up areas that just might have been missed, because that does happen during an event. But overall, crews did great. Like I said, 13 and a half inches of snow. We're minimal breakdowns, so we're looking good for the next storm. We got new salt deliveries that started the next day. We used about 260 tons of rock salt, so those supplies have been brought back, and we're looking good for the next event.
Thanks, Mark, and all the men and women at the DPW for your consistent hard work. 2022 is off to an exciting start at the library. Here's Clayton Cheever with this month's Moral Moment.
Greetings and Happy New Year from the Morrow Memorial Library, Norwood's public library for everyone. I'm Clayton Cheever, your library director, and I'd like to tell you about a few things happening here at the library this January. We know these are intense times as we all do our best to stay safe and healthy, protecting the physical and mental health of our loved ones and ourselves. I'm very glad that so many of us have gotten 2 doses of the COVID vaccine and the booster shot, as I know this is the best way to protect us. If you or anyone you know is not fully boosted, please make plans to get protected today. You can find lots of resources at vaccines.gov, where there's a helpful search tool to find the most convenient place to get a shot. If you need a PCR COVID test, go to mass.gov/gettested. When you come to the library, we kindly ask that you please wear a mask, regardless of your vaccination status. We see lots of people every day. Many of our library workers have people in our immediate families who, for some reason or another, are vulnerable. Commonly, these are people with young kids or not yet approved for the vaccine, and people who have other complicating factors that place them at greater risk. We have masks available if you've forgotten yours when you visit. None of us are crazy about wearing them, and we miss seeing smiling faces, but it's really a small sacrifice when we don our masks to show respect for each other and all the people we are connected to. I'd like to take this opportunity to remind you of some of the rich resources available to you that have little to no physical risk to enjoy. Our curbside pickup service is still available every day we're open. You can place a request for a book, a movie, a magazine, a video game, any other thing we lend, and when we have it ready for you, simply follow a link on the notification to make an appointment to pick it up. We'll have it ready and waiting for you right by the door so you can be in and out in seconds. When you need help finding something or making that appointment, just give us a call or reach out by email or our online chat. Find all the details about how to reach us on our website at norwoodlibrary.org. Parents of young children have told us just how challenging it is these days to find good, safe ways to provide social learning opportunities for their kids. This month, Ms. Dina launched a new in-person counting story time for toddlers and preschoolers. There's still space available if you have a little one in your life and would like to join Ms. Dina for songs, stories, and a fun take-home craft, all while learning numbers and counting skills. This program's happening every Wednesday morning, and we simply ask that you register for each day that you'd like to attend so we can keep numbers safe. We're holding this story time in the Simone room up on the 2nd floor to provide lots of space, and so far everyone has been really great about wearing masks. Thank you. We're finding lately that most adults in Norwood are preferring to meet online rather than in person. Patty's book group's doing both, but the rest of the programs this month are only online. There's one happening on Monday evening, January 24th, that I know is going to be especially popular. It features 2 of our favorite authors. Hank Philippi Ryan is engaging in a live conversation with Alifair Burke, whose latest novel, Find Me, was released this January 11th. I last spoke with Hank when she joined James Patterson for a similar conversation last year. She's a total delight. I am sure this conversation with Alifair is going to be a highlight of the season, perhaps the year. Now, I've brought some new books with me I'm excited to tell you about. Coretta Kent was an inspiring artist, educator, nun, and activist. You're likely familiar with her work, even if you don't know her name. She painted the rainbow on the gigantic Boston gas tank just off the highway on the harbor. Matthew Burgess wrote the words, and Kara Kramer created the artwork for this fabulous book celebrating Sister Kent, called Make Meatballs Sing. Or award-winning science fiction writer Ann Leckie dove into the fantasy genre with her highly acclaimed novel, The Raven Tower. Gods meddle in the fates of men, men play with the fates of gods, and a pretender must be cast down from the throne. This book is a great way to step into another world, and it stands on its own, so you don't need to worry about falling into another long series. Now, when you want to engage in some nonfiction reading, I recommend Land, How the Hunger for Ownership Shaped the Modern World, by Simon Winchester, who you may be familiar with from his other books, The Professor and the Madmen, and The Perfectionists. Winchester was a journalist before he turned to writing, longer form writing, and he's always an engaging natural storyteller. Now, if you'd like a little inspiration to expand your reading experience, I invite you to cozy up with a book and play Reader's Bingo with us this winter. Every row completed earns an entry in the raffle for fun and prizes. This game is open to everyone high school aged and older. If you read these 2 books I just recommended, you can use Land for the book by a New England author, because while Winchester is British, he lives in Western Massachusetts, and we're claiming him as one of our own. And The Raven Tower is clearly a book with a dark cover. So, just Go and print a bingo card from our website or stop by to pick one up. Just make sure you turn it in by March 11th to get your entries into the raffle. This has been a Moral Moment. From everyone here at the library, I wish you and yours a safe and happy January. Happy New Year.
Thanks, Clayton. Please remember to bring your mask with you to the library. And now we're going to toss it over to Dory Theos with the latest in school news.
Hi guys, I'm Dory Theos, and let's take a look at some activities happening in our Norwood schools this week. In Norwood High School news, congratulations to senior Julia Kelleher Kimmy Hanoim for being named Student of the Month. Great job. Attention families of the senior class of 2022. If you want to purchase a recognition ad in the yearbook to congratulate a senior, go to yearbookforever.com and enter Norwood High to log in. The same is available for families of 8th graders at the Coakley Middle School. The CMS yearbook offers you the opportunity to write a message to your 8th grader in the yearbook. The cost is $15 for a 200-character message. To learn more, go to the CMS website and click on Dr. Frazik's weekly newsletter, The Mustang Minute. For questions, email at cmsyearbook@norwood.k12.ma.us. The Coakley Middle School PTO is having a January Winter Wheel raffle. Tickets are $10 and you have a chance to win a new set of Apple AirPod Pros. The deadline is January 17th. To learn more, you can also go to the CMS website and click on Dr. Frazik's weekly newsletter, The Mustang Minute. The Balch School was so excited to finally receive their new cafeteria tables last week. Mr. Eli Norris, head of food services in Chartwells, has been working on plans to update the elementary cafeterias through painting, signages, and tables. The pandemic has really slowed down the progress of these much-needed updates. As you can see from the pictures of our cafeteria, the table's arrival has really brightened up their space. Not only does the cafeteria look brighter, but the amount and design of the new tables allowed the students to go back all facing in the same direction while eating their lunch. This practice is another action that schools can take to mitigate the spread of COVID. The tables were delivered the day before the snow day, and students were excited to come back to school on Monday with the new setup. The Balch custodians and the buildings and grounds crew made quick work of getting the out with the old, in with the new in the new year. At the Callahan School, Ms. McAvoy's first grade class worked collaboratively during indoor recess to create a variety of structures using bristle blocks. They designed towers, castles, houses, as well as vehicles that moved. And some flowers were sent to the Callahan School nurse, Ms. Gertie, to show appreciation for all that she does. Principal Donna Brown says Ms. Gertie goes above and beyond each and every day. Third grade students at the Oldham School competed in a mini marshmallow STEM tower challenge. The students worked in partners and they had 20 minutes to build the tallest freestanding structure using toothpicks and mini marshmallows. Everyone had fun and learned a lot about planning and reflecting on their structure. Cleveland first graders also worked with toothpicks and marshmallows to make snowmen that will be able to stay up and be balanced. I don't know about you, but I think that's a lot of marshmallows at the Oldham in Cleveland, and I wonder what happened to them after the projects were finished. Students at Little Mustangs Preschool Academy have been learning about Martin Luther King Jr. in honor of his birthday and holiday coming up this weekend. Students shared ideas about how they can be kind and include everyone, just as Martin Luther King Jr. did many years ago. Some classes created art by painting their two hands different colors and then putting them together to make a new color and beautiful artwork. Another class discussed similarities and differences using eggs. Everyone at LMPA had fun learning together, so thank you, Martin Luther King Jr. As a reminder, in honor of Martin Luther King Jr., there will be no school on Monday, January 17th. Well, that's it for school news. There's something interesting happening in our classrooms and schools every day, and thank you to all the educators who share their news with us. Now let's go to Mike Maloof with the latest in school sports.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the Sports Update. It was a busy week for the Mustang athletes with some great outcomes and exciting finishes. Let's get right to it. Both girls and boys track teams wrapped up their regular season with a tri-meet against Medfield and Ashland at the Reggie Lewis Center. They split both meets, beating Ashland but losing to Medfield. The boys beat Ashland with a score of 65-30 and lost to Medfield 61-34, and the girls took the win against Ashland 59-18 but lost to Medfield 79-16. Congrats to both teams on ending their season on a high note by beating Ashland. The gymnastics team took to the mats, bars, and beams for 2 meets this week. First against Medway at home. Norwood had some strong performances by senior captain Marion Pastor and freshman Shay Larkey. It was a close one throughout, but Medway edged out Norwood by less than 2 points, winning 135.6 to 133.7. Then on Thursday, the girls were back at it against a very strong Norton team. The Mustangs had another solid performance, but the Lancers were too much to handle, beating Norwood by a score of 142.6 to 133.8. On Wednesday night, the boys of the wrestling team hosted Dedham for their annual Gregory Police Trophy match. From the opening match, it was all Mustangs. Norwood had some strong performances throughout, including senior Jimmy Pinciaro, who talked about what was going through his head as he prepared for his match.
I'm gonna go out there, beat the crap out of this guy. We gotta, put 100% effort in all times and get the win no matter what. That's all that matters. Went good, putting in the hard work, but, I went out there, did my thing, and, that's all we did, and we beat the crap out of Dedham, so it's a win-win.
The Mustangs eventually pinned down Dedham by a score of 54-3, taking home the Gregory Police Trophy. Junior Jack Brady reflects back on his match.
I was tired, but just kind of powered through it. Got slammed at one point, but I got up. I think I was losing on points. I was down like 12 to 9, I think. But I got his arms, and I turned him over, and I hooked his head. So he ended up on his back, and I ended up with 6 points for the team.
This was the first time the Mustangs have defeated Dedham to take home the Gregory Police Trophy, and they did it in dominating fashion. On the ice, the boys hockey team had a week off due to a postponement on Saturday, then a scheduled day off on Wednesday. But there was a reunion of boys hockey players last weekend at the skating club. This was the very first alumni game to be held at the new home of the Mustangs. Over 25 players laced it up, and many of them still look like they could play for the Mustangs. There was some great passing, nice goals, and a lot of smiles on the ice. The event was sponsored by the Friends of Norwood Hockey and was a fundraiser for this year's boys hockey team. The girls team continued their winning ways as they picked up 2 more wins this week. First, over Canton 3-0, who has been a long-time thorn in the side of the Mustangs. Second was a 4-3 win at home against Mansfield Oliver Ames Foxborough. It was a back-and-forth game, but junior Morgan Roach came up big late in the game. As we see her here, she steals the puck, walks around the defenseman, and goes top shelf for the game winner. The boys basketball team has been off since last Tuesday due to a few postponements, but they will be back in action this Friday and next week against Medway, Dover Shoreborn, and Walpole. The girls basketball team rolled over Millis this week with a score of 62-28. It was a good all-around effort with 10 players scoring in the win. And finally, the event of the week undoubtedly goes to the athletes of the swim team. Thursday night, the Mustangs took on the Norwell Clippers in the 3rd annual Nor Cup. It was a back-and-forth meet that came down to the final heat of the night. As the teams took to the blocks for the 200 relay, Norwood was trailing by 2 points and needed a first and third finish to retain the cup. The first 2 legs of the relay saw Norwood behind by a significant margin until the 3rd swimmer, Joe Green, hopped in the pool. Joe closed the gap to make it almost a tied race going into the anchor leg. Let's listen to the call from Mark Hoover and myself.
So Shane Bateman in lane 3, he'll start off, but Green did a great job of closing that. Oh, and they're off and raring to go. So it's coming down to this between Bateman and DeMattia. This is going to be a fun one. Wow. They kicked the wall real close.
Wow, David's swimming a great race so far.
Oh, this would be huge if he could hold this one here. As Patrick Ebram jumps in for Norwood, he's on the last one.
Oh, and he turns and he's in ahead.
I think David might have him by a touch here right now, but we'll see what happens.
Wow. This is going to be unbelievable.
We talked about getting loud. This is huge.
It's going to come down to the touch, I think.
And they both know where each other is, too.
David got it.
I think he got it.
Mark was able to catch up with the first place relay team and the winners of the North Cup following the race.
Well, I am here with the 400 relay squad that pulled this thing out here right at the end. unbelievable. We knew coming in tonight, listening to your coaches, that this was going to be a good, close meet. And you guys did not disappoint going into the end. So before we get started, real quick, head on down the line. Just introduce yourselves for the folks here.
My name is Jake Wilkinson. I'm David DiMattia.
I'm Maddie O'Keefe.
I'm Joe Green.
When you went in the pool, it was the gap had started to close, and then you just went all out. What was that like?
Oh, well, I mean, my underwaters and my dive were kind of bad, so I knew that once I got into the open water, it's just about getting her in and picking the short rake up, starting to get the kick going, and then I could get her, because I knew that my time would probably be better coming off the block, because I watched her 100 free, and I knew that I could get her if I just picked the short rate up and started kicking.
Yeah, and so you could watch it closing. Now, you know, as we're coming down here to the final leg, as I was watching the two of you guys come here at the final end, the way you're swimming, your head's coming and facing him, and he was facing you, so you knew kind of where each other was. Did you know right away when you touched the wall that you would touch first?
No, not at all. No. I thought that I was going to touch second because I dove in and I was fine, and I knew that I just had to keep with the guy next to me, and then I started to tighten up, but then he started to tighten up. So then I was just like, I just need to like push, and then I was just like, I don't know what's going to happen, but just got to go for it, I guess.
Congrats to the whole swim team on a thrilling victory. Well, that's all for sports this week. Make sure to watch the bulletin board channel or follow us on social media for any updates on our weekly sports coverage. Kristen, back to you.
Thanks, Mike. In government, there were 2 remote meetings Monday evening, starting with the Middle School Building Committee. Chin Lin of Compass Project Management presented a project update to the committee. The group approved minutes from November and December that will be submitted to the MSBA for approval. The group meets next in February. Then later that evening, the planning board met. Members reviewed site plans for 2 applicants looking to install signs on Cottage Street and Central Street. Both permits were approved, and the new signs will be installed in the upcoming weeks. An applicant on Boston Providence Highway appeared for a continued public hearing. Neighbors came to the meeting to discuss community impacts. Ultimately, the applicant's request was approved following all discussion. Ahead of the special town meeting coming up in March, the board began to discuss its strategic goals. Before adjournment, members reviewed concepts like a mixed-use overlay district and other zoning initiatives that may be discussed at the upcoming town meeting forum. The school committee met remotely Wednesday night. Segal Reese presented an update to the board on COVID-19 data. Representatives from the Norwood's 150th committee appeared before the board to answer questions about an upcoming fundraiser at the Skating Club of Boston. The group discussed the timeline for the superintendent evaluation process and other long-term agenda items. Before adjournment, the group accepted an exciting donation, a brand new 15-year scholarship for graduating students. The Frederick and Dora Valentine Family Memorial Scholarship will award $1,000 to a graduating senior for the next 15 years. Superintendent Thompson expressed gratitude for the thoughtful gift.
The name of the scholarship will be the Frederick and Dora Valentine and Family Memorial Scholarship. It is for 15 years and $1,000 per year, and they would like to start in June of 22, this June.
Is there a motion to approve this new scholarship? Emery, thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, David. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Thank you, and thank you to the Valentine family for their generosity.
For all my students watching, you know what I'm going to say. Start working on those scholarship applications. Reach out to your guidance counselor for an application or to learn simply more about the process. We are here to help you. On Wednesday, the airport opened their meeting with an AIP project update from Du Bois & King. Following the update, the commission discussed 2 FAA payment requests under new business. These payments were for EA, Phase 2, and Taxiway D construction. The meeting ended with a number of items under correspondence. Then the commission entered executive session to discuss strategy with respect to litigation between the town of Norwood versus Boston Executive Helicopter. Also Wednesday, the Community Preservation Committee met for a hybrid meeting in room 24 of Town Hall. The committee began with a finance report that moved on to project updates. To end the meeting, they reviewed project applications and discussed their 2022 meeting schedule. The next meeting for the CPC will be January 26th. The Finance Commission met remotely Thursday night. The group reviewed details regarding the enterprise fund and updates to financial policy. Members discussed the FY21 financial summary for the airport. Before adjournment, the group considered updates from the Middle School Building Committee. The Commission meets next in February. For complete government coverage, tune into the NCM Government Channel or watch on demand at norwoodcommunitymedia.org. Stay tuned after this break for more town news. Welcome back. The town of Norwood provides opportunities for Norwood citizens over the age of 60 to reduce their property tax by volunteering in a town department. In 2021, the town instituted a similar program for veterans. There is no age restriction for veterans. The Norwood Human Resources Department is currently accepting applications from interested seniors and veterans for FY23 tax year. Information regarding both programs can be found on the town website at www.norwoodma.gov. Select the link for volunteer opportunities under the Human Resources Department. Information is also available by contacting Human Resources at 781-762-1240, extension 6073, or by emailing hr@norwoodma.gov. Also, 2022 dog licenses are now available. All dog registrations are now being done online. The dog license registration link can be found on the town website on the homepage. There is a short informational video explaining the steps to register. If you have any questions, please call the town clerk's office at 781-762-1240. Well, that's all for Norwood News. To stay up to date with Norwood Community Media, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. As always, thank you so much for watching. Have a great weekend.